So, Cricut has come out with this new Value Vinyl. Have you seen it? Will it save you money or drive you nuts? I tried it and the results might surprise you. Hello, everybody. JenniferMaker here. It's a beautiful day to try out the Value Vinyl, and along the way, I'll show you how to decorate some mirrors fast and easy. So, have you seen Cricut's new adhesive Value Vinyl and wondered if it's worth trying? Me too. So, let's see if it's worth your time and money. I have both Value and the Premium Vinyl here to compare cutting, weeding, applying, and their overall value. We'll create decals using both to make some inexpensive mirrors trendy while we test. These positive messages will be an instant lift every time you check the mirror. But first, let's compare my initial impressions of the Cricut Value Vinyl to the Premium Vinyl. Cricut says they can sell the Value Vinyl for less because it comes in bigger amounts with simple packaging. They also only offer it online, so you need to plan ahead and be ready to store a big pack of vinyl sheets or a box with several feet of one color. If you'll use a lot of vinyl, that's not an issue. But if you're in a rush or have limited space, the Value Vinyl has those drawbacks. I'm using a sampler which comes with several sheets of lots of awesome colors. Now the Value Vinyl is matte, and I mostly use the Premium Glossy Vinyl, so that's what I'm comparing it to here. The Value Vinyl does feel a little lighter, and it's slightly thinner than the Premium Vinyl, so that will impact the cutting and durability. Both materials have the same dimensions, so you don't have to adjust your project to fit. The Value colors are just as vibrant and consistent, but it doesn't come in specialty styles and coatings, so you will have to stick to the Premium Vinyl if you want those, at least for now. But here's a surprise. The Value Vinyl has a transparent carrier sheet. It's almost clear, while the Premium Vinyl is on a shiny white material. Any guesses about what that changes? I'll show you soon. But really, how does the cutting the Value Vinyl compare to the Premium Vinyl? I prepared some of my mirror message designs in Cricut Design Space to show you. Get these fun, free designs over at JenniferMaker.com/690. And if you need any help getting or uploading my files, visit JenniferMaker.com/SVGs for help. There are 12 cute messages, but I'll ungroup and cut just a few in both Value and Premium Vinyl to compare them. I know these designs will fit on my mirrors, but remember to measure your blank and resize them as needed if you're making a different project. Now, any of the Cricut cutting machines can cut both kinds of vinyl, but I'm going to use my Cricut Maker 3 today. Since these are adhesive vinyls, we don't need to change any settings on the prepare screen. I'll cut the Premium Glossy Vinyl just like I usually do, by finding the setting. I usually select more pressure, but I want to test the default cut settings for both today. Now, since my vinyl is on a roll, I'll check how much I need to cover the designs and cut that off using the grid on the back to measure. The Premium Vinyl goes shiny side up on a green standard grit machine mat, and then I'll use a brayer to get it really well adhered on the mat for consistent results. Then load the mat and press the button to start cutting. I usually check if the cuts went all the way through, but I'm skipping that today for a true comparison. So there's the Premium Cricut Vinyl. It cut fast and looks nice so far. Now here's a big difference. The Value Vinyl has its own setting, so you'll need to find it. Searching for Value shows some of the other materials Cricut has released. Let me know if you want a video on any of these too. So we'll use Value Vinyl for now. Again, I'll leave the pressure at default for the test. Preparing the Value Vinyl is just like working with the Premium Vinyl, but it doesn't have a grid on the back. I'll use my mat's grid to measure about the right amount according to the screen. I missed the grid lines, I have to admit. Now pay attention to the Value Vinyl surfaces, because they're not as easy to tell apart. The matte side is what I usually refer to as the pretty side, so that should be face up on the green standard grit machine mat. And use a brayer to smooth it down just like with the Premium Vinyl. Value Vinyl uses the same fine point blade, so I'll load the mat in and start cutting. The Value Vinyl cuts very similarly to the normal Premium Vinyl, and I didn't notice a difference in the time the designs took to cut either. Here are the cut sheets. I don't see much of a difference between the two so far, other than one being matte and the other being shiny. Do you see any difference? Now that we've cut the vinyl, how do they weed? That's the big question. I'll weed on the mats to keep the material still and in place so you can see how the weeding goes. The cut lines can be tough to see on different types and colors of vinyl, but I can see them pretty well on the premium vinyl. Now let's remind ourselves of how weeding the premium vinyl goes. My background weeded well, but some delicate spots took a little help to come away. Sometimes removing a really small piece like the counter or the inside of a letter A is difficult. I pulled up the letter trying to get mine. If that happens, you can use the indents in the carrier sheet to put it back in place. Or, better yet, just weed the counters first and then weed the outside part. And now for the Value Vinyl. The Value Vinyl is weeding really well. The background was perfectly cut, so I didn't have to be really careful like I was with the premium vinyl. And the tiny pieces weeded very easily. I didn't have any trouble keeping my design pieces in place either. So I would say the Value Vinyl is actually better when it comes to weeding. Does that surprise you? It surprises me. Next up, let's apply the decals to our mirrors. I'm using standard grip transfer tape for both vinyls. Cricut does have value transfer tape. I haven't tested it yet, but I'll look into it. First, I'll clean each mirror with rubbing alcohol and a lint-free cloth to give both vinyls the same chance to stick well. Dust can really get in the way of this. If you're decorating an item with a top or hanging hardware, make sure that it's right side up so your decal will face the right way. Let's prepare a decal of each kind so we can compare them. I have some pre-cut transfer tape a little bigger than each design. We'll remove the backing on one piece of tape and start with the premium vinyl. Hold it over the decal like a taco or a U shape so the lines are straight and right under a word if possible, because that helps with positioning later. Lower the sticky section down onto the vinyl and then smooth the sides down. That's pretty smooth, but let's see if the Value Vinyl is any different. So it's about the same so far. I always use a scraper tool to burnish all over the decal on both sides, because that really helps the material move over to the transfer tape. So I'll burnish both decals for 5 seconds on each side to be fair. Let's see how the premium vinyl comes off of its backing paper. The premium vinyl really didn't want to move to the transfer tape. I did a lot of extra burnishing. Everything transferred eventually, but I was lucky that none of the delicate pieces tore. Okay, and now for the Value Vinyl. The Value Vinyl was a little easier to pick up with the transfer tape, and I didn't have trouble with ripping, so that's great too. Now for the fun part, adding vinyl to the mirrors. I know the hardware is at the top, and I want to be able to use the mirror, so I'll make a little center crease just on the transfer tape. Then line that up with the mirror's vertical center in the lower section. The tape's horizontal lines help with the alignment too. Gently let the middle sit on the surface, then smooth down both sides just like we did with the transfer tape. Okay, let's see if the Value Vinyl goes on just as smoothly. Now we need to gently burnish it for a few seconds, keeping the pressure on the vinyl instead of on the empty transfer tape areas. A scraper helps here, but you can also use your fingers and nails. Now gently peel up a corner of the premium decals transfer tape. Awesome, that went perfectly. Okay, and now for the Value Vinyl. Remember to keep your burnishing pressure on the vinyl instead of on the transfer tape. Awesome, another perfect transfer. I had so much fun making all of these mirrors. Which message do you like best? Let me know in the comments. While we're looking at the designs, are you curious how other crafters make their decals background layer another color like this? I can show you how to do this through a special program called Advance over at JenniferMaker.com/advance. The Advance program helps to advance your crafting skills by teaching you how to make these popular designs unique and special through my tutorials and templates, as well as give you advanced access to my vast library of designs, projects, and resources. I may or may not be accepting new members into the advanced program at the time you see this, but if you're interested, go to JenniferMaker.com/advance to learn more and see how it all works. Now back to the vinyl. Vinyl can go on all kinds of projects, so how does Value Vinyl hold up to some everyday challenges? I used some decorated mirrors as coasters, and both cleaned up perfectly, even after I got coffee on them. I also set them outside in the sun for a day, and neither vinyl faded after that. I even tried to scratch them up, and both vinyls still look great. So, after a few tests, I'd say the Cricut Value Vinyl will stand up to about the same wear and tear as the premium vinyl. If you're decorating something outdoors that will be exposed to the elements a lot, like a mailbox, it's probably worth using the premium vinyl just to be on the safe side. So, is Cricut Value Vinyl worth it? All this testing is helpful, but what about the cost, right? That's more difficult to compare because material prices change, especially with sales and deals. Overall, you do seem to get more of the value vinyl for the price. But remember the amounts. If you only need a small piece of vinyl, is getting a good price on a huge roll really worth it if that's taking up space afterward? Or is it better to find a small roll of premium at the store to use right away? That depends on you, your project, and your budget. But I hope you can use what I've shared to help you make your decision. Overall, I do think Cricut's Value Vinyl is worth trying, especially if you have a big project where the vinyl won't be touched often or need to hold up really well outside. And how can you use up more of the material if you do have to get a lot? I've also tested the Value Vinyl as stencils for etching cream and decorated pumpkins with it. They stayed in place for more than 2 weeks. Well, and actually, my pumpkins have been on the porch for like a month and a half, and they still look awesome. Yes, a few bubbles showed up over time, but honestly, that's probably because the vinyl is on a pumpkin with an uneven surface and a lot of moisture. I'm still impressed that that vinyl is still on that pumpkin on the porch with all of my squirrels. So, as long as you have reasonable expectations for the value vinyl, I think it really can work well. Remember, if you want to learn how to make the two-tone designs, the instructions on how to do this and so much more are available in my advanced program. So, are you excited to try Cricut crafting with me, but don't have a machine to start with? I've got you. I do a regular giveaway over on my blog at jennifermaker.com/Cricut giveaway. Get all the details and enter for your chance to win. And if you're looking for more vinyl project ideas, I encourage you to join our supportive, fun community in the Cricut Crafters group. It's over at jennifermaker.com/Cricut Crafters. And when you make your own vinyl projects, come show us your hard work. I can't wait to see what you create. That's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.